Good afternoon. We ask that you please silence your phones. Our pledge of allegiance today will be led by Sam Poole, followed by a patriotic song by Miss Anita, followed by Sandy Donovan with our invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's do America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of rain, for purple mountains' majesties, above the fruited plain. America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Please be seated. I was thinking about the invocation today, and I was spoiled for choice. I thought about being thankful for America the Beautiful and for the many blessings that our predecessors have given to us. And I was reminded of a talk that Harris Blake gave to us a long time at this meeting, talking about Jackson Springs. And at the time I was surprised because Jackson Springs, quite frankly, by its own telling, has seen better days. And Harris talked about the concept that we sit in the shade of trees that others have planted. The idea of caring for our neighbor next door, as well as those that we will never meet. And thinking about neighbors we will never meet led me to think about the conflict going on in the Ukraine right now, and I've seen so many photographs and so many stories of families standing in line, waiting for trains, leaving their homes, and they all have a backpack. You get to take a backpack. So I would ask you just to contemplate for a moment, leaving your home, not knowing when you might come back, when you might see your family. What would you put in your backpack? Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the morning light and for our sheltered night, for our good health, each loving friend, for all the blessings that you send. And please help us to share our blessings with those in despair. And now bless this food to our use and to your service. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sandy. Yeah. All right, so welcome and thank you for attending today's luncheon. It's rainy out today, but thank you all for showing up. Introduction of members, guests.
Yes, Rebecca McInnes with Circle K's here.
We'll just call her a member at law.
There you go. Catherine Navy has a guest.
I'd like to introduce Robin Calcutt, my friend, and I'll let her sort of introduce herself. I'm sure many of you know her.
Okay. Thank you for having me today. My name is Robin Calcutt, and I'm running for school board, Moore County Schools. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm a native of Moore County, believe it or not, of the 1%. But I worked for Moore County Schools for 34 years, and now I'm with St. Andrews University as a professor. And I care so much about our school system that I stepped up to join them, hopefully with your support on the Board of Education. So please vote for me. Thank you.
Pass out flyers whenever, we need to get flyers to pass out. That's a privilege.
And our our new member, First Health, has two that will probably introduce themselves, as Chris Miller and Amy Tanell.
Well, welcome all you special guests. Glad to have you today, and we definitely need support for our school system. All right, 50-50. Y'all get your tickets out. All right. All right, everyone. May I have your attention, please? 043944. 043944. Anyone?
Right here. Sammy,
It's probably because I loaded the basket. This
get
is
your,
the big
off your money
spender from
back.
the
Very
east.
much.
All righty.
All right.
Okay, you gotta pay to play.
Okay.
Good
Sammy,
deal. Thank
wanna come
you.
on
So
up?
it's probably because I'm a me.
Yes. Give us an invitation.
Just heard, maybe Catherine spread the word that George and Kirby are both down with this GI bug that's going around. I don't know anything else about illness and visitation. Everybody seems to be all right, but if you know somebody, please let me know and I can follow up and be in touch with them. Thanks.
All right. So right now for this week for birthdays, Tamara Hassler is on the 11th, Joe Bond is on the 12th, and Al Carter on the 14th. Okay, they're not here today, so we don't get to sing. All right. So now is Kim Kimmery here today? Yeah. So Kim is here. What about Doug Lamb? I think I seen him. All right, and Dr. Tart, okay, and Catherine, y'all want to come on up? Right over here. It is right up there. Oh. Okay, that's fine right there. All right, so it's always good to welcome new members, especially distinguished members that have been highly recommended. Whenever you see Dr. Tart's name, you know you're good to go. And if Catherine, if she says it, we're also good to go. So, as we prepare to induct you into our club, we want you to know that you have been approved by the board of directors. We hope that you enjoy the good fellowship and that you will be forming many new friendships along the way. Kiwanis is not a fraternal organization, but an organization dedicated to building a community. As a Kiwanian, you have several basic obligations. First, we charge you to attend. If you cannot participate, you are not present. Second, we charge you to work on projects with us too, to become involved with more Kiwanis community services. Third, we charge you to dream to help plan new projects that will benefit our community. A good member is an informed member. The lapel pin is a symbol of Kiwanis memberships. May you always wear your pin with pride. Excuse me. She'll be right back. May you always wear your pin with pride, for it signifies that you too are a builder. We are proud to welcome you into our Kiwanis family, and I want to simply say you're in Kiwanis now. She's going to get the pins. Once the meeting is over, I would like for y'all to place yourself at the head table up there up front, by where the name tags are at, so that everyone can greet you as so you can get to know everyone. Because you know, with COVID, we just started back wearing name tags not too long ago. So you will get familiar with each and one of us. Feel free to sit at any table. Don't ever sit at the same table all the time because you won't get to know the members. So Catherine's got some pens for you right here.
It's magnetic.
And y'all, you know.
Well, not sure. Just do it right. That's pretty cool.
So everyone at this time, hold on one second.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, very magnetic.
So at this time, we ask everyone to please rise and give a warm, hearty welcome to Camp Kendall and Bird Home. Thank y'all very much. You may be seated. Okay. Couple of quick announcements. March the 10th, which is tomorrow. You still have an interclub Kiwanis meeting up in Rayford, and you've already got the personnel that's going tomorrow. Now, if you feel like you want to go to that interclub meeting tomorrow, you need to see Curtis Ritchie. He's here today as well. All right, Robin, you want to talk about the pancake last push? Is she here?
Couldn't make it this morning. We're all set. We sold 36 ads on our placemats, and there was only room for 34, so we really got creative. They look cool. And 7:30 to 10.
All right.
Have a grand time.
Great. Sounds good.
Sell more tickets.
We've heard from the Pinecrest Key Club. They're working on their roster to see how many people they can get to join. So as well as maybe some other clubs that's going to be joining.
From O'Neill.
Okay. So it is this coming week. So this coming Saturday. All right. So thank y'all very much for doing the diaper drive. The diaper drive is for our mid-year convention in Wilmington. That's what those will be. I'll take them up there on the 18th. So next Wednesday is the last day to bring your diapers. But the Pinecrest Key Club, they're doing a canned food drive through the rest of March. So keep bringing your items. We got a table over there to your right. You can place your items there, and I will take care of them. The PK Music Festival, the committee will meet briefly right after this meeting is over, okay? Probably right in here, be the safest thing to do, right in here, right after the meeting is over. All right, two more quick things. Okay, first of all, as I was picking up Doug Lamb's name tag today, y'all know that I love having everyone here, okay? We do not discriminate against anything. Now I got everybody's attention now. Okay, so with that being said, as I was picking up his name tag, I looked on the back. If you wear a pacemaker, you're not to use these name tags because they're magnetic. Okay? And I hope I don't incriminate any HIPAA violations, but if you do have a pacemaker, a couple of you are a little older than I am that's in this room right now. So if you do have a pacemaker, it can be young or old, but you know, they recommend do not wear the name tags because they're magnetic if you have a pacemaker. If you do, take it off now. At the end of the day, seek Catherine so that we can get you another replacement. We don't want the reason that you don't want to be a Kiwanis because you can't wear a name tag. That's what the bottom line to that is, okay? So we will get you a name tag if that's an issue. All right? Yes, Sam.
Brian, I think there's a defibrillator out in the hallway on the right.
I've only had one class on that, but I'm welcome to try. All right, last but not least. Okay, so,
I'm certified.
all right, so last week we had our speaker, Ray, and he was here from the Boys and Girls Home. And so he sent us a card, Kiwanis Friends. Thank you so much for your hospitality and the opportunity to be with you this week. Because of you, we are able to provide health, healing, and hope to those in our care. And that was from the Boys and Girls Home. So they're doing a lot of great things. Okay, so this is a poem that he talked about last week. I took a piece of plastic clay and utterly fashioned it one day. And as my fingers pressed it still, it moved and yielded to my will. I came again when days were past. The bit of clay was hard at last. The form I gave it stood it bore, but I could change that form no more. I took a piece of living clay and gently formed it day by day, and molded it with my power and art, a young child's soft and yielding heart. I came again when days were gone. It was a man I looked upon. He still that early impress bore, and I could change it nevermore. And that was anonymous, and that was from Ray Caldwell. Yes.
So, Brian mentioned, PK, and I wanted to let everybody know, I talked to Wayne Jordan, Wayne Adams on my mind, but Wayne Jordan a couple evenings ago, because he called and said, do you want me to be a leprechaun at the pancake breakfast? And I said, oh yes. So he said, I will try. He said, during the pandemic, I've had 2 back surgeries, followed by rehab. I got COVID in February last month with a lingering lung infection. They're putting in a PICC line because oral antibiotics don't do it. I have hip surgery scheduled for March 25th when PK applications are due. So, but I wanted to, he sounded so upbeat and just so Wayne, and he wanted to be here today, but he has a doctor's appointment at 12:45. So, I wanted to share with everybody that he's doing well, and he may be joining us as a leprechaun Saturday.
All right, great. Okay, so real quick, we have the Kiwanis Good News. Kiwanis Good News. Go ahead, Sandy.
All right, well, I got my dollar.
Okay, I already put some in. Okay.
Oh. Okay, the question comes up frequently about getting back into the schools to read. We had a very useful meeting. Curtis and Rebecca and I went yesterday to McDeed's Creek and spoke to Ms. Anderson, and she is going to coordinate with the K through second grade teachers to see about getting us into read, and we want to get started before the end of this spring semester so that when fall comes around again, we can hit the ground running. We'll also be working to get back into the Head Start buildings, but that's an ongoing process. If you are interested in reading, there is a background check that the schools will process. There's no expense to it, but if you're interested, please get in touch with me because I will give you the address for that background check, and we'll all get on board. Thanks.
All right, anyone else? Yes.
I'm pleased to have my dear friend Robin Calcutt here. Robin and I almost started our teaching careers at the same time at about the same school, and couldn't be more pleased to have you, Robin. Thank you for coming.
Anyone else?
Real quick, I have good news with kind of an announcement mixed into it. I'm excited because we're taking a little step in a new direction technology-wise. We will send you a link from last week's meeting. You can watch it on the video over the internet, and people that are not here today, like Wayne Jordan, can watch today's over the internet by video. So if you miss a meeting in the future, check the Kiwanis website or email me and Catherine. Well, Catherine doesn't need any more emails. Email me and I will look into whether we were here to video it, but we're going to start videoing everything regularly for everybody to be able to see if you miss it. So that's an exciting thing for Kiwanis.
Well, she took my good news, so I just wanted to thank her for doing that. You know, since we are being recorded, it shows everything that's going on. Okay? Yes.
My smallest bill's a 20, so I'm gonna have to get changed after the meeting. But I had to get up here. And at the beginning of the meeting last week, I came in with Jim Tartt said, Jim, wouldn't it be fun if Carolina beat Duke, Coach Krzyzewski's finally. And condolences to Jim. And at the time, I thought, there's no way in the world that can happen, but miracles do happen. Go Heels.
Yeah! That was the best good. All right, without further ado, Miss Anita. Now, we had a couple of glitches this morning setting this up, so it's not gonna work exactly the way they had planned it, but we're gonna do the best we can with it.
And thank you for your help. We're fortunate in our largely rural community to have First Health of the Carolinas, a regional medical facility. And we're pleased that First Health has actually become a corporate member of this very club. And that's a really exciting development in our club. And we're excited for you all to be joining us, even though it's on a rotational basis. Today we'll hear a presentation about the new Cancer Center. To share with us is Amy Goff-Tamez, the Director of Principal Gifts at the Foundation of First Health, where she helps philanthropists, large and small, fulfill their passions in the service of others. Amy's worked in the area of development and fundraising for various nonprofits such as Boys and Girls Club of the Sandhills, the Texas Medical Association Foundation, and the National Domestic Violence Hotline, both in Austin, Texas. Amy and her husband Ernesto, who is also with First Health as a physician assistant, reside in downtown Southern Pines, where they enjoy walking their Australian Shepherd, Sadie, and backpacking North Carolina's scenic trails. Amy holds a business degree from Ole Miss and a nonprofit management certificate from the University of Texas. Joining Amy today is Chris Miller, the Executive Director of Planned Giving at the Foundation of First Health, where he helps individuals fulfill their philanthropic goals through tools that leave a legacy of impact on organizations and communities. Born and raised in Winston-Salem, Chris and his wife moved to Pinehurst from Fairfax, Virginia to join First Health of the Carolinas in 2005. He was a member of the Community Health Services Department for 16 years, serving first as business director and then administrative director of the department for the last 10 of those years, before joining the Foundation of First Health in October of last year. Chris and his wife Helena have 2 children, Evie, who attends West Pine Middle School, Robin, familiar place for you, and Will, who attends Pinecrest High School. Y'all listen to this pedigree here. Chris holds undergraduate degrees in Russian and East European Studies and nutrition from UNC Chapel Hill, a Master of Public Health degree from UNC Chapel Hill, and a Master of Business Administration degree from George Mason University. He's currently a board member for several outstanding community organizations, and by the way, he'll be with us next week joining the new Pinecrest High School football coach, Nick Edens, when he speaks to us. But for now, please join me in welcoming our friends from First Health, Amy and Chris. Thank you for being here.
Does anyone need a little pamphlet? Did everyone get a copy?
Share.
Okay, great.
Thank you all very much. I'm going to step out from behind this thing, or else you will only see the top of my head. Thank y'all so much for having Chris and I today. We're thrilled to be here. We're both relatively new at the foundation. I've been there a year last week. And one of the things that I found most compelling when I was coming on board then, and I still do today, is the Building a Dream campaign for a new comprehensive cancer center. And what that will mean for our community, cancer patients, their caregivers, and their families. Because cancer touches each of us. For example, these are new cancer diagnoses in our 15 county service area. Last year we had 8,010 cases approximately, and by the year 2024, 2 years from now, we will have more than 8,500, and that's new cancer diagnoses each year. So the problem is increasing, not decreasing. So obviously there is a need. As it stands now, when a patient hears those dreaded words, "you have cancer," they begin a world-class, multidisciplinary series of treatment at First Health, but yet an inconvenient journey. The problem is, because there's not yet a cancer treatment grouping under one roof, they have to go up to 7 different locations for their treatment. So obviously this is not the most convenient, compassionate, or comfortable care possible. And because of that, a patient may seek treatment elsewhere, UNC or Duke, which creates another set of issues because they have to go away from home. However, there is a solution. And here's a little more about the need and what a new cancer center will mean for this community.
We live in a fast growing area. Our population is growing almost 4% per year. Do you know that cancer is growing more than twice as fast in this area? We've got to find ways that we can thwart the growth of this disease.
Currently, we offer advanced cancer care. We have been first in the world on multiple clinical trials, and in each location we have providers that work with their own separate group of support staff. One of the problems with this is that a patient may need to go to 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 different locations through the course of their diagnosis and the treatment for their cancer. Bringing all the services under one roof will really be able to help patients get through their diagnosis, their treatments, and even through survivorship.
In places that don't have a multidisciplinary team approach to their cancer care, a patient might just be seen by one physician, and that one physician may just say, well, I'm going to treat this the way that I treat it. That's not what's best for the patient. If you're going to do what's best for the patient, you need to get everybody in a room, you need to get all that expertise together, and you need to have a collegial discussion about what is best for this person.
You really can't underplay the value of having more specialists in one building, mostly because our field is actually getting more complex.
Right.
It's not getting easier. We're having more tests, more molecular tests, more aspects of tumors that we've never really discovered before, and they're all coming now into play into treatment, and that cancer center needs to be there for us really to grow into where we're going into the future with medicine. So the impact that the cancer center will have cannot be understated.
With cancer, genetic testing has become paramount in the age of what we call personalized cancer care. The role of genetic testing also spans across all malignancies. We now realize that there may be a common pathway or a common vulnerability with cancers based on their genetic makeup.
We integrate with surgeons, medical oncologists, pathologists, radiologists, and then certainly ancillary services, dietary, phlebotomy, financial navigators, case management navigators. So we are always kind of in team mode, but right now it's pretty piecemeal with people physically being in one place or another and not being able to come back over to see or meet a patient. It's a lot more difficult to kind of make that coordination happen. That's going to be the physical importance of the new cancer center for not just us, but also with the patient. They only have one place to go.
My passion for delivering a comprehensive cancer center and moving forward our cancer care services really comes from my mom's diagnosis of cancer. Walking through her journey, I think it did more for me than anything to be able to see patient care from the patient side, not from the provider side. And in that, realized that we need to do a better job at being patient-centric in bringing services to the patient and not having them try to navigate the system on their own.
One of the things that we're currently in the process of really trying to make more efficient is the process and the time it takes for somebody to go from the beginning of their cancer journey, which is they might have an x-ray or a CAT scan or something that shows a suspicious finding, to the end, which is the end of their treatment. Ideally, you want to have that be the shortest period of time possible. Now, without a dedicated building, a cancer center, everything under one roof, it's a challenge to say, have the patient get their CAT scan over here, then they have to get their PET scan over in this building, then they have to see this physician whose clinic is in this building, and then they have to see another physician potentially whose clinic is in this building. Every time you have to go to a different place, that's a different appointment, that's a different day.
When you get the diagnosis of cancer, you're looking at a lot of visits, and as much as you can make each visit an efficient process for that patient, that's just an amazing thing, because what becomes more important to them when they have cancer is their time with the things and people they love, not being at the hospital.
I truly believe we have the right physicians in place, the right subspecialists, the right support team, the right clinical trials. The missing piece for us is the facilities to match.
You've got top-tier medical care, just like you would find at academic centers, combined with you're part of our family and part of our community care, where we're going to be with you every step of the way, and you're not going to be going through this alone. We've got all these great services now, even without a building. It's really exciting to think about what we'll be able to have when we have a building.
So, as you see, this is going to be transformational care for patients in this community. There we go. Technology. So now, please allow me to take you on the grand tour.
This is awesome.
Obviously, this is the exterior of the building. It's 4 floors, 120,000 square feet, which is twice the available space for cancer patient care currently. You'll notice it's lots of glass to allow for natural light. This first garden you'll see here is our ground floor healing garden. It will have a water feature, lots of different plantings. It's Linda Acker designed it. Obviously, this is the lobby, so we're passing reception on your left, and then also on this floor is registration. You'll see the bistro, radiation oncology is on that floor. This is a resource room that will have a fireplace and public computers on your left, you see. This is a waiting area, a cozy additional waiting area. This is registration. All of this is on the first floor. Then we come around here to the bistro. The bistro will not have any cooked food because many patients experiencing treatment are sensitive to smell, so it will have healthy foods like smoothies, salads. Now we're entering the second floor, which houses gynecologic oncology, the pharmacy, and McMurray Infusion Center. Brian and Connie McMurray have given us a $1.5 million gift. All the infusion faces outward, so that the natural light is shining on the patients. If you know of anyone or have experienced treatment currently, many of our infusion rooms have no windows, so this is definitely an improvement. This is the second floor healing garden. All of the infusion chairs can be pointed toward the healing garden. If you're on portable infusion, you can come outside and mill about in this beautiful natural environment. This whole entire cancer center is meticulously designed, not only for the physical body's treatment, but the spirit and mind. Everything will be pointed toward healing. All right, so moving now to the third floor. It's not sexy, but this is where the doctor's offices are, as well as the exam rooms. There's conference rooms, and the admin will be housed here, administration directors. Now, the 4th floor, this is something really special. This 4th floor is what sets this cancer center apart. What happens here is where the miracles happen. So, not only for patients, but for the caregiver, for their families, and even for staff who are experiencing burnout faster than any other time in history. People are leaving healthcare because they just can't take it anymore. So this floor will be available for staff as well. So without further ado, let me show you what magic happens on the 4th floor.
The focus with the Comprehensive Cancer Center is providing the ultimate patient experience, so a patient is truly guided through their journey with cancer. That's through enhanced navigation with all of our patient navigators, as well as an enhancement of our support care services. The 4th floor of the Cancer Center, which is 30,000 square feet, will house all of the support services for our patients. This will include palliative care, our patient navigators, cancer wellness, massage therapy, meditation, and a space that is safe for kids to be able to play and entertain themselves if a parent or a grandparent is there for treatment or receiving counseling.
To have our own designated space and be acknowledged as a part of the treatment plan is, I think, phenomenal. You know, it's been something that we've been working towards for a long time. That acknowledging that exercise is medicine, and this is going to be something that really helps people with their overall wellness and their recovery. And it's open for the community. So not only can the patient come here, but caregivers really need that too. And our program for cancer patients is also for caregivers.
When I think of the 4th floor, I think of that place that if Tony's in treatment and I am just exhausted, I can go to the 4th floor to sit somewhere to meditate, have someone to teach me to meditate, to someone who says, you know, have you ever thought of yoga? There are a million things I haven't thought of because the spouse has to constantly be dipping into a pot of kindness and support, and you can't get to the bottom of it. You have to replenish it somehow. So the 4th floor to me is for the spouse, the place where we can replenish.
You know, we are taking care of our patients and their families, number one, but we're also taking care of our family, the staff, the people that work for First Health, the nurses, the custodial staff, the physicians, the techs. So the 4th floor really is this magical place, this picture of what First Health has always done, and that is to care for people. I can just imagine getting on the elevator, hitting the for the 4th floor, and the doors opening, and all of a sudden this feeling of being more than the location of the 4th floor, where you step off that elevator and feel supported.
Having a place that you can go and say, you know, call them and say, I'm really having a bad time with this. Where do I go? 4th floor. 4th floor. It's going to be the new motto. I am going to the 4th floor.
So, this is why Mickey Foster calls the 4th floor the magic kingdom of cancer care, because all of those special things will happen there. Yoga, meditation, chaplaincy, massage, you see a gym there, art therapy, music therapy, canine therapy. It will all happen here. And additionally, outpatient palliative will be housed here, which helps manage the stress of disease symptoms. Grief counseling will happen here, clinical trials. So more than 60% of the clinical trials happening in the world today are in oncology. We will be doing more of those. Nurse navigators and financial navigators will be housed here to help patients through complex and stressful decisions during this time. So this is a very, very, very special place, and it's only made possible through the support of this community. One of those ways is a giving circle that is called Base's Dream Team. Base Obi that you see in the upper right corner, she was a Pinewell resident who was given a cancer diagnosis of advanced stage and was given 6 months to live, and she turned that into 6 years. Dr. Michael Pritchett was one of her physicians, and so in honor of her, her husband Jim Obi, who is shown in the center there, in honor of her, he began a giving circle called Base's Dream Team, and together 102 members are working toward a goal of $1.25 million in support of the 4th floor. And so far, they're at $1.1 million. So there's still ways to go, and this is one of many fundraising circles that are helping the 4th floor and to build the cancer center. So we'd love to have your help if you would consider it. So you know the what, where, why, but how. So this project is $68 million. That does not include the $9.5 million parking garage that's now complete. If y'all have been down Page Road, you've seen the parking garage, you've seen the building going up across from the Reed Heart Center. First Help is a not-for-profit healthcare system, and we have $30 million in budgeted capital for this project, which means we must raise, the foundation is in charge of raising $30 million. Now do the math, there's still 8 remaining. As a last resort, if we can't raise that additional 8, it will be borrowed. So far, we're at $21.6 million of that goal. So that shows the generosity of this community, how much y'all care about having excellent health care, and we do. And we thank you for that, each and every one of you, thank you. All right, so here's where we are today. And here's where we'll be living the dream come January 2023 when this building is complete, thanks to your help. Thank you. Yes, sir.
This is absolutely great. I mean, you don't know how many times people have had to leave Moore County to travel, and then they're still, they're trying to deal with the loved ones with cancer. We all know of people with cancer, loved ones and stuff, and it's daunting. You know what I'm saying? So with having this right here, I think this would be the solution for Moore County by itself, so you keep everything in-house.
Yes, and I'll add to that, thank you for those kind of words. I'll add to that, the Clara McLean House, when it was built 10 years ago, its original purpose was to house cancer patients who were more than 30 miles from home. That was its #1 priority. Of course, since then, we've, surgery patients, etc., that need us can be referred by their physician to stay at Clara's. But we will have a renewed focus at the Clara McLean House for cancer patients once the center opens. So basically the 4th floor and the Clara McLean House will be working together to provide the most comfortable accommodations possible for patients if they live far from home. And surprisingly, more than 50% of patients receiving care at First Health live outside of Moore County. So, thank you. Any other questions? Yes, yes ma'am.
I might have missed it, but are imaging and radiation in this building?
Radiation oncology it's on the first floor. And then infusion is on the second floor. Imaging, I think, will still happen at the imaging center.
Right, I think it just depends on what the type of imaging is needed, but some of the things like PET and CT will still be outside of that facility.
So that radiation oncology will move from the main hospital?
It will move from its current location to this building. And actually, we have added another machine that it's called a linear accelerator. We've just purchased the foundation through the community support has purchased a new linear accelerator for the building already. That was one of our disbursements for fiscal year 2021 was a $3.5 million new linear accelerator. Yeah. Any other question? Yes, sir.
A statement and then a question, or the question and then the statement. We have a lot of members here who are not here today. How can they access this kind of information so that they know about it and they can be able to respond? How do we do that?
Well, please, everyone, take a packet home with you. It has Chris and my information in there, and we're happy to contact them if you want to send their names along or have them call us, and we can also leave some extra packets today.
The other good thing is what is being done of videoing this, so we can get out to all the different members who are not here today. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was privileged to see this the other night unexpectedly and got really excited about it, and I immediately called Anita saying, hey, there's a neat program we should have, and she said, have you read what I've sent out? In over 40 years of active ministry, I cannot begin to tell you the pain and the suffering of so many people that I have been with who have been battling and dealing with cancer. I encourage you to read the material. If everybody in this club decided to give a donation, no matter how much, it would make a difference. And that's what this community has to do. So that's just my 2 cents, but don't count that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, it's true. We can't do it without y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you the surgeon summary. When I came back here in 1969, they were building the big white building that we see now. That opened in 1977. And I complained, looked at the plans because they had no radiation therapy plans in them. And there's 3 legs to cancer treatment, as you have heard: medical oncology or surgical oncology and radiation therapy. 3 basic legs. The 4th always has been the 4th floor, which is being added in. It's always been there, we just haven't recognized it fully. So as soon as I complained, they said, okay, you're chairman of that committee. So we sent out a survey, we did the whole thing. The bottom line was that for a $50,000 change order in the building structure, we built those 2 tombs that are down there now, the treatment tombs that are currently being used. In that building, and then we went on to get radiation therapists eventually on site, and that was good. The whole point being that to tie those together in a place where you don't have to jump from place to place to place, you can get medical, surgical, and radiation therapy in the same building, the same site, when you're suffering from a debilitating disease like cancer. Is the major thing, and so it's a real big step up. And thank you, Amy and Chris, for coming and sharing that with us.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
Another point about to compliment the folks on the innovative thinking that's gone into the planning of this is my understanding that there are 2 linear accelerator rooms there, but this time, instead of building into the basement, they built them on the exterior.
That's right.
So that there's room now for a third linear accelerator to be built in the future without having to dig into the basement of the building. And the second point to emphasize that you alluded to is the patient navigators. That's going to be a tremendous benefit for people that, you know, they get this diagnosis and they don't know where to go and where do I have to go next. And now we have people there. We're going to have people there that will guide them from one location to the other and give them comfort and guidance as they go along. So the patient navigators are going to be a big difference here as compared to a lot of other places.
Yes, sir, that's exactly right. We've had patients who have been connected with their nurse or financial navigators say that it saved their lives, that it simplified complex decisions, stressful choices. It simplified them to a point where they could actually heal. And so you're so right. Navigators are life-changing for patients.
Yes, ma'am.
I recently had a friend, I have a friend who was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. And her doctor, who was a local doctor, I can't say whether they are affiliated with First Health, but referred her to Raleigh to a breast cancer specialty office where they do the surgery and everything but the oncology follow-up kind of stuff. And I'm assuming, and I also have a cousin who is undergoing cancer treatments at Dana-Farber in Boston. And she wants to move down here to be close to me. So naturally, I'm trying to reassure her that we have everything that she's gonna need. But I'm assuming that if someone gets a diagnosis of breast cancer or any other specific type, that they're not going to have to leave this area, that all the specialties will be under this one roof.
So that's an interesting point you bring up. We have great doctors here. We have some world-class doctors here. Dr. Michael Pritchett's one of them. He's among the world's best in what he does, which is lung cancer treatment, ablation. However, if there's not a specialist that your friend needs, it's good medicine to refer them out. And we do that all the time. We want to practice the best medicine for you possible. So if that means collaboration, where you go to a specialist at Duke and you come back here for your treatment, that's okay. It's good medicine. But we'll try to keep you here because that's the whole point. We don't want you to have to leave home. It's stressful, not only for the patient, but for their caregiver and their families and friends. So we'll keep you here if we can. If not, we'll refer. But to answer your question, yes, please have them start here. Call me if you need to. We're happy to guide you in the right direction.
Maybe can I add one more thing?
Yes, of course.
Just one more piece to that. I'm assuming if your friend who's being treated at Dana-Farber, more than likely they're on some type of clinical trial, or at least there's a very good chance. The great thing with our clinical trials department that we do have here at First Health, they collaborate very well with other facilities to make sure protocols are still followed. There were countless times when someone was half the year here and half the year somewhere else, and we're getting treatment for their clinical trials in both locations. So again, that's another great thing about our capabilities here, the fact that we have clinical trials and we do work really well with other institutions.
Yes, ma'am.
What is a linear accelerator?
It zaps the bad cancer cells. It's what gives the radiation treatment. Good question, though, because I wouldn't have known that either if I didn't work for First Health. Anyone else?
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Chris.
Thank y'all so much. We're thrilled to be here. Thank you.
Outstanding. Excellent presentation. And if any of you have to go to Raleigh, you know that drive to Raleigh will keep you by itself. So you have to be called, especially on rainy days like today. Okay, last two things. The PK Music Festival Committee, to your left, back table over there, meet right after this meeting is closed. And then also to Catherine, orders for coats, polos. I've got mine to give you. If anybody else needs to turn their money into Catherine, she needs to place orders as soon as possible. Do anyone have anything else for the good of the group? Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for coming.
You won the drawing, didn't you?